Man, I'm doing amazing.
Amazing. That's the kind of energy I need today, Akon. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm fantastic. I'm thrilled to be talking to you. I'm a huge fan.
We are pumped. You're a legend, man. I'm very happy to have you here. Thanks for taking the time.
Brother, appreciate that, man.
I feel like as much success as you had in music, and there's a shit ton of it, and we will get to it, everything you seem to be doing, in real life, in what matters, seems to be even more impressive. But yet at the same time, I feel like people just, they know you for your hits and they know you for your music. What are you more, proud of? And does it bother you if people aren't recognizing what you've done in Africa and what you're doing with Philanthropy? Or where do you feel as far as both sides of your career are?
Oh, no, man, I'm actually satisfied with everything and how it all went, how it was going. I think from a music standpoint, it was more important to be recognized on the music side of things. And I feel like I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish musically, so I'm totally cool. At this point now, it's all about having fun with the music, exposing certain things from a social standpoint and being involved there musically. But on the philanthropic side, that was never really done to get recognition or let people know that I was doing that seriously.
You're breaking up a little bit on us. I'm going to see if the connection will kind of clear up for it there. But yeah, I think you're better now. I think you came back in now. You good?
Let me move to a different part of my house. Maybe that might work out better.
Okay. I do like that part of the house with the ambient lighting in the ceiling, though. That looked pretty dope.
All right, how's that? Is that better?
This is better. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's hope we get better Wi-Fi in Akon City, dude.
Telling me. Well, the thing is, I'm in the studio.
Uh-huh.
And the studio is kind of soundproof, but it also not only block out sound, but it blocks signals a little bit too. So I got to get close to the door.
Oh, that makes.
Thank you. That's good stuff.
You were saying about the philanthropy that it was never done for recognition, and
yes,
I totally get that. But recognition's nice.
I guess because honestly, recognition doesn't do anything for me but bring more work.
There you go.
So the more things I can accomplish low key, the better it's easier to kind of enjoy life a little bit more. But I think are known for things like that size is like everything come at you, so you're constantly focused on different things that's constantly coming at you, and you're just super busy trying to organize around you.
No, that makes sense. But when I learned everything that you've done, I think you do deserve more recognition. Like when I tell people, like, did you know Akon powers electricity in 15 African countries, and that he's coming out with his own crypto city, and that he once considered seriously running for president? People are like, what? Akon, Convict Music, the dude from this song and that song? And I'm like, yeah, man, he does big things. You should know that about him. But I guess I think you can only do the biggest things when you're doing it for the right reasons. So I guess good on you.
Yeah, I kind of like that it just naturally, organically spreads, and I think when it's like that, it also gives you a good deliverable pace at things, because by the time people find out, it's almost materialized or already materialized. Whereas soon, and they notice that it's not really nothing really happening yet, they just assume it's a lot of, talk. Again?
Yeah, we're back. We're back now.
It's in and out. We got you though. So talk to me a little bit about Akon City, because that sounds like something from a movie. It sounds like something from the future, but it's this $6 billion Akon, literally an Akon City with hospitals and buildings, and it's all crypto based. How the hell do you pull something like that off?
Dude, I ask myself that every day, because I didn't realize how much of it was actually growing to become so big. It started off as me just trying to create areas where I can create trading mechanisms for Akoin. It's like, what's the purpose of having a coin if you can't use it, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's a lot of mistakes that a lot of these tech guys ran into. They just had ideas with a coin attached to an idea, but nothing physical or tangible. So my idea was, okay, if I'm going to create a coin for Africa, I want to be able to utilize every resource Africa has, not only from, the minerals and the gold, silver, cobalt, and all this stuff mining in the grounds, but also utilize the population, and more than anything, all that land. So I went and bought 2,000 acres, and I said I'm just going to put a crazy development up here, but I want the architecture to really feel African. I want it to, like, when they come in, it's a whole nother city within itself, not what they've ever seen in the movies of past historical African, footage and stuff like that with jungles and, and AIDS and all the negative stuff that they're promoting, but something that looked futuristic to where Africa can really become. And it just so happened around that time as I started the project, the movie Wakanda came out. And actually the real life film version of what I was trying to do. It was just mind blowing. But I think because of that, it kind of attached me to the music somehow and was like the real life Wakanda. And I kind of believed that story when it came out. So I just ran with it with them.
There you go. That's it.
So this has been in the process for like 5 years. Is that how long you've been working on it?
I finally was able to get the full funding of the $6 billion to build the whole city out. We start our first groundbreaking for construction in January, and the first phase will last about 3 years. It's a 3-phase construction project, a 10-year bill. But by the first phase, people will be able to actually come in, enjoy the city, live in it, work in it, and play in it.
Now let's say things.
Are you like the mayor or like the king of Akon City?
Yeah, well, you can call it the king because I'm the owner of it.
Yeah.
But I want to expand it all throughout the world, but I want to franchise it in other like growing African countries first. And then we're going to go to Asia, and we're going to go into Latin America. We're going to actually, I've been speaking to 2 governors here in America. I can't tell you which state yet, but we might even be able to launch some Akon cities here in the U.S.
So that was what I was going to ask. Like, if things go perfectly, could you do an Akon country if things work out well? But you want to just do Akon cities in different nations? Dude,
if everything goes perfectly, all of Africa will be
Akon. Would you rename Africa Akon? That's unbelievable.
I'm going to Akon. I'll be there for about a week.
It's crazy that it's not a pipe dream and that it's something that's actually materializing. It sounds like impossible to pull off. I really don't know how you do it, but
what's crazy is everything seems impossible until you start to go at it, and then you start to realize the more. And you know what? I treated everything, including my business, the way I treated music. It's all collaborations, right? So when I realized, okay, I didn't know that much about what I wanted to do, I started bringing people around me that knew how to start infrastructures, knew what smart cities, was needing and things like that. And I brought in all the professionals and then just paid them what they were worth. And then before you know it, they bring in people that, that bring in another whole side of educational aspect of things that we need. And it just all starts coming together. And then once the ball's rolling, it's like a snowball effect that becomes bigger than you, because now you got big hedge fund groups and, all these, banking financial institutions that want to now put money into it and pour. And now it's like to the point where it's like I'm turning people down and investors and all kind of stuff.
Isn't that such an insane thing that it's a crazy concept? Like, how am I doing well? I hire smart people and I pay them what they're worth.
I incentivize them. Yeah. I mean, novel concept.
I promise you, it's literally that simple. And I learned that kind of early. And I kind of, because Jimmy Iovine was the first person I feel that paid me what I was worth. And out of it, he got Gaga and all this other stuff, right? So I'm like, dude, if I just pay people what they're worth, I'm going to get what they're, like, you really, like, it really means you get what you pay for. Like, literally, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You can't, if you know that's the best person for the job, dude, I guarantee you pay that person what he's worth, you're going to get back 10 times more back.
That's yet again another thing that I don't know if
pay you guys what you're worth, literally.
I'm gonna tell him that. That's another thing that I don't know if you get credit for. The Lady Gaga. I mean, she's wildly talented and she was destined to be big in the music industry no matter what. But it really was through you that it all kind of began. And I don't think that's something that people necessarily associate you with, but you deserve credit for that as well.
Man, listen, the way I look at it, everything that you accomplish, like they say, whatever you do in the dark will one day come to the light. I think if you work towards recognition and credit, it's going to slow you down. But just accomplish as much as you can, and then all the credit will catch up eventually. Before you know it, one day, God forbid, I leave this earth early, all that'll come out and people be more shocked, and I just be more recognizing for longer for the things that I've accomplished.
Yeah, you're totally right. But it's nice to have that when you're alive. Everyone wants to hear their eulogy. Like, it must be like Akon's the fucking man, dude.
Like, I'm super happy with just knowing it happened. Like, it's cool that everybody knows, but it's more honestly more important that I know that I achieved it.
What was that like? What was the process like with because you were one of the first labels to sign Gaga. What was like? Did you discover her, so to speak, or was it just like you paid her what she was worth?
No, actually, Gaga, I was the 5th label to sign Gaga.
Oh, you were?
Gaga was with 5 other labels before I picked her up. So she got signed, then got dropped, then got signed again, then got dropped.
So even more credit to you. That means other people had her and had this amazing talent and didn't do it the way you did it. So even more credit for Akon.
I mean, I probably was the first person to ever ask her, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You have that idea of just putting whatever on you, but Jimmy Iovine was just a smart dude, man. And to this day, every time I mention music, he's always a name that I pull forward because I always gave him super credit for giving me the mind to think outside the box when it comes from a corporate standpoint of the music side of the business. And I always said that he threw me a bone with Gaga because Gaga was actually already on Interscope, you know? She was already on Interscope when I signed my label deal over there. And when I was working with Red One, because he was a producer that I had just signed out of Morocco, we was working Pussycat Dolls, and I just happened to catch a writer's block and was writing with Gaga, you know? And shit, when I found out she was already in the building, I picked up the phone and was like, yo, Jimmy, I need this on my label. She needs to be the first act that I push out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was like, hell, fuck yeah. He said, all right, well, I believe in you. Take it.
Bro, it's like A Star Is Born was based on you. You're Bradley Cooper, dude.
So let's talk a little bit about the music. Have you been keeping up with over the past couple months in quarantine the Verzuz brand with
right?
Okay, so I have 2 questions for you on that front. One, do you think you could be beaten in Verzuz? And 2, who do you think could go toe to toe with you, or who would you want to battle with?
With Verzuz, honestly, I could battle anybody.
Anybody, Akon. I think you beat anybody.
I think you're untouchable.
I could battle anybody. Now, the only thing about whether you win or lose, I think that's always been a matter of opinion on the person and what taste of music they like. You know what I mean? So I feel like anybody loses in Verzuz, but I try to count the real hits. And like, you know, there's records that are just great records and you know, okay, it's a smash record. But there are records that are just classics and there's nothing you could do, no time span that you could play it and people won't react to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm judging off classic records that impacts everybody's lives. And honestly, if I was to go toe to toe with anybody of my generation, I don't think there'll be nobody out there that could beat me.
I don't think so either. I mean, especially, you know, now people are doing what they're,
you know, I just judge music differently. It's not that I'm being arrogant on that aspect. I just feel like, because me personally, I make music to impact people. So I think if it was on that scale and every one of my records, I did it to impact people, it'd be tough to beat me.
And every feature, you're forget
it. And artists that I've brought into the business, and oh my goodness, it'd be crazy.
So I also think that the way people win Verzuz is about how they pick their catalog. What would you lead off with, and what do you think you would close with? Would you come in hot with like what you believe to be your best record? What do you think is your best record?
That's the thing. I don't even know, bro. Like
too many.
I don't even know. But me, I would come urban first.
Okay.
I think urban kind of sets the tone, and whoever they bring, it got to be someone that's diverse like me, because I don't think there's too many artists that can come with like 10 urban smashes. Like I would start with Locked Up and probably end with Soul Survivor, right?
God, those are 2 monsters,
bro. Start with Locked Up, end with Soul Survivor. Put I'm So Paid in the middle. I mean, forget about it. You can't touch Akon.
We just go in between, but then I would cross it over on them, and then they got to know if they even got pop records to even match. You know what I mean? Because then I go in with the Mr. Lonelys and the Sweet Escapes and Just Dances. I'll be like, dude, how are you gonna beat me?
You can't.
Just hearing you say it is so wild. Like, you can't be touched, Akon. You can't be touched.
I can be touched, but it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be difficult.
Who would make you go like, oh, all right, this is gonna be like, I got to do my homework. I got to really come with the perfect list.
It will be Michael Jackson.
Jesus Christ. God.
This is where I would get Mike though, because Mike can't go hip hop.
No, right.
Go pop with him, but he can't come hip hop. And then I can even cross it even over into Afrobeat.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I go into Afrobeat and then go into some of these the WizKid records and the Davido records and all these records that I produce, oh my goodness. It's
so,
like
I mean, you sound like you're a pretty humble dude in some regard though, but what you're describing to me, what you're saying, it sounds like you think you're the greatest music creator of all time.
No, I'm not saying that, but I can say of my generation, I'm probably the most curious and probably the most, you could say,
best
fearless as far as going genre to genre. Like I just dropped a Latin album just 3 months ago that went #1 on the Latin music charts, and my hip hop audience or my pop audience don't even know anything about it.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
So,
I did not know that. That's insane. You went Latin. That's fucking awesome.
Right, that's crazy. Like, so just imagine if we go into the Verzuz and I start dropping my Latin records where I'm actually singing in Spanish. Niggas would be like, what the fuck is happening?
You mentioned that you make music.
You know,
you said that you try and make music that's impactful. What do you feel is your most impactful record?
I think one of the most impactful records I probably made. I think Locked Up was very impactful.
Yeah,
I think Don't was very impactful. I think Mr. Lonely was very impactful.
Mr. Lonely would be mine. That was my song. That was unbelievable. Especially right. I think I was in high school when it dropped, and it was like, we're thinking about two very different things. Like you wrote it, right. You wrote it when you were locked up, and your girl had left you, right?
Yep.
That's what.
Like that. On a general basis, I think that was probably the most impactful record out of all my records. If I was to give a chart, that would be #1.
Yeah.
Mr. Lonely.
It is, but you ever think like you're writing that from a place that is like incredible loneliness, where you're incarcerated, your significant other had left you, and then like I'm listening to it and being like, he's speaking to me because my high school girlfriend broke up with me.
You believe if you've been through it, you understand. So that's why Locked Up was very impactful from an urban space too, because a lot of people went through it. And if you ain't never been locked up, you know somebody who has. You know what I mean? Right, so I think depending on who's listening to what songs would definitely like when I was in the Middle East, Don't Matter was one of the biggest the big records there. Only because like there's a lot of arranged marriages in India, in the Middle East, and of course in America, there's a lot of jealousy between, when you say couples, right? Somebody may have a girl you like, or a girl may have a guy that she likes, or whatever the case may be, or parents but in the Middle East and India and certain places, parents would always arrange marriages. So you would find people that fall in love and then they could not even be together because of tradition, but they try to find ways to do it anyway, and then there'd be huge repercussions that come. So because of that, I think that was the reason why in that region Don't Matter was just so big.
That's crazy. I never think about that, like how impactful music can be to different cultures and things like that for completely different meanings than you meant when writing it. But that's pretty deep. That's very cool.
Do you think that you had global success? What about your music do you think is that, popped the way it did? I think that voice of yours is so unique, and there's just nobody else like you. Like, when you hear an Akon, when Akon comes on a track.
There's never any questioning, like, what artist is this? It's like, I know Akon's voice. I think you have one of the most iconic voices alive right now.
No, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I think if I was to give credit to what made me, globally kind of, I can say, relate, is I would definitely say the voice and the melody. Because like a lot of places where I used to go for concerts and stuff like this, they would never really know the songs, but they would remember every melody in the record. Mm-hmm. So I always try to find international melodies or melodies that's right in the guidelines of what an audience or a fan can sing. Because most fans can't sing. They just love the fact that you can sing, but they always want to sing with you, right? So I try to keep it at a key where they can sing with me from top to bottom. If you notice, I've never really had any crazy runs or hit a note that was far out of my reach. I always stay like right there,
But now, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Can you do that and you choose not to, or you just can't go to that level?
Oh, no, I can definitely go there.
Wow. Wow.
Made music for the people, So, I always looked at music as customer service, give the people what they want. And I like to create something that I know for a fact they can be able to enjoy and sing along with me. So I always thinking from that aspect, and I also think from concert aspect too. You want the audience to sing with you loudly. So you got to keep tones and keys that you know for sure that they can be able to reach.
I think that's a very awesome thing to do. I think a lot of artists, they do want to, do, and you've done it, I'm sure. You want to kind of do what you want to do when you don't really think about the fans. But like being like, I want to cater to my fans I think that's a rare thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be.
Oh, we're at such a good run.
I mean, this is the music business, right? And I think most people love the music but forget about the business. They don't. Oh, again?
No, but we're coming back. Well, we're coming back. It's gaining steam back. Let me ask you this question while the connection finishes here. I read an article before the interview started that said, this was in 2018, that said you were seriously considering running for president in this election year. Was that true, or is that like a clickbait headline, or you really had thoughts about doing it?
Oh, no, I really had real thoughts about doing it. I even went to the point of registering. I was going to run as a Republican. And that was probably going to shock everybody. Like, Republican?
Yeah.
Why? But I had the answers for why I was doing it and everything. And I really thought about it very, very seriously. And then I started building this city and all the other things that's going on with it. And I realized, okay, if I decide to run for president, all this will be on hold. So let me just go ahead and knock out everything I want to knock out. And there's a lot of things I actually want to be able to do that I just won't be able to do while I'm president. Like, I'm still young. I'm still out there hanging out and living the time of my life. Time of your life as a president, right? So I said, live the time of my life, let these last, legacy goals, let me complete those. And then the next term, I can just nicely walk into the race. And more than anything, though, I wanted to understand American politics, because I'm starting to realize that politics isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's a lot more diverse. It's a lot more gritty. It's super gangster. Like, I'm starting to realize just how dirty politics are. And Trump showed me just how politics can be played. If you're not prepared for it, they're going to eat you for lunch. So I want to know exactly how to react to certain things, know how to penetrate and hit them when they don't see it coming. So I'm going to be prepared to attack the same way they're going to be ready to attack me.
Now, so put like a year on it. What year what election you think you would consider would be time to run?
I would say probably either I'm going to be very, very close by 2024.
Wow. But
if I'm 1 inch too early, then I'm going to wait for 2028.
Okay. All right. That's soon, though.
I look forward to that.
You got my vote.
It's within the now and the next 10 years, for sure.
Wow.
Now, you said that you're having the time of your life. What does a night with Akon look like? Like, having the time of his life, non-coronavirus time.
Oh, I mean, no, dude. I'm gonna be. I normally would be somewhere in the world on somebody's yacht, because I'm always on someone else's boat. I would never buy one, right?
Smart man.
Someone else's boat, playing loud music, and we're probably at a private event where there's nothing but a whole bunch of beautiful girls and great exotic foods, and probably an after party shortly after.
What are we drinking on this boat?
I'm drinking Shirley Temples.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But I'm pouring either Grey Goose to someone, or I'm pouring some kind of champagne, whatever they got available. But I've noticed, like, recently, the big thing that's been kind of running on everybody is that 1942. So I've been ordering extra 1942 to my parties because all the girls are requesting that now.
What a host. Can I get an invite to one of these parties?
Oh, dude, that would be amazing. I would love for you to come.
Yo, don't even joke around. You fucking... Dude, I'm serious. You guys have... there.
You guys have...
All right, dude, we're getting the word to wrap up. I just got one last thing for you. It's so impressive that you're able to do so much of this in music and otherwise, when, you did have, a couple speed bumps along the way and some scandals and some shit you had to work through. And also, by the way, just for the record, I think when you look back on it, I think a lot of it was overblown and whatnot, but nonetheless, you had some adversity to overcome. And I think a lot of people would probably be surprised when they hear you and see what you're doing. So just your thoughts on your whole journey and what happened and how you've gotten here now.
Oh, yeah. No, like, all those pieces I think was necessary, man, because they matured me a lot. Believe me when I tell you. And I also feel that there's no way you can reach to the top without going through the turbulence. You have to go. And you got to bump your heads a few times to know what's cool, what's not. Because believe me, it only took me one time to react to a hostile fan to realize that every time you react to a hostile fan, you're buying them a house.
Yeah.
Houses and cars for them. So that you gonna when they come back with that lawsuit and you decide, do I want to settle this or do I want to go to court to prove I was right? Even though you might have felt you was right, it don't matter. The fact is, once that lawsuit hits your desk, now you got to pay to either get rid of it or pay to defend yourself. And either way, it don't matter. You're gonna have to spend money.
It really don't matter. All right.
Hey, before we let you go, Akon, the new EP, Ain't No Peace. How long did that take to write? Was that a quarantine write?
No, actually, it's crazy because Ain't No Peace record were pieces of records that I've written in that just throughout times. You know, I'm always been the kind of artist that went through experiences to write about songs. So a lot of these songs were written way before a lot of this stuff was happening, but I just never had the right time in releasing, whether I was with a label at the time and they wouldn't let me get that, social through my music, or the timing just wasn't right, or I was in a space where I wasn't in a position to release music. But this time I had to put out something. So I got about 3 songs that's very, very current on this album. And then the other 4 are songs that I've written within now and since 2010. But the time has never changed. The situation has always been the same. So the songs are just as relevant now than they were when I made them back then,
Yeah, that's great. That's sad. That's sad that, a decade later, it's still the same. I listened to the EP today. Right. I love Sweet Love. I love Get Out with Ross. It's it's awesome. Everyone should go listen to it. It was like, right as soon as I started listening to it, I was like, oh, fuck, man. Akon is the king. He's fucking awesome.
As soon as you hear the clink, as soon as you hear the dinosaur clink, you know what's up. Yeah. Listen, man, thanks so much. And continue taking over the world, and I'll be voting for you in 2028, bro.
Nah, let's go, baby. Let's do it.
See you on the yacht, Akon. Later, man. Thank you.